Let's move on and get in Anshu Kapoor also on the show. He joins in from Edelweiss on the sideline of the conference as well. Anshu, thank you very much for your time. This time digital conference. How is it going? What kind of conversations are you having with your clients today?
Good afternoon, Ajay, and thank you for having me again on your show. Yes, it's been an incredible response, I must say, to this virtual conference. And as you may recall, last year when we spoke, I had mentioned to you, I think this is India's largest wealth management conference, which brought in about 1,000 odd investors, companies, and market experts. But this time again, we are seeing a fabulous response. There's a lot of conversation happening. And I'll maybe talk about 3 or 4 areas where obviously the conversation is focused on. One is the changing world order. What is changing, what will change, and what will perhaps remain the same. So how will the world come out of all that we are going through? Second, obviously very India specific has been the economy. A lot of conversation on what's working, what is not working, on markets. Given that there is, we are just 7% down from where we were pre-COVID on the benchmark index. So what happens now? Also on industries and sectors, how business models are transforming, how revenue models are transforming, what's happening on costs, what's happening on margins, and is there any permanent trend emerging out there? And finally, we have a lot of questions, obviously, from customers and investors. Where should we allocate? How should we allocate?
Sure. Anshu, what are you making of the market right now in terms of valuations, in terms of management commentary and the earnings which went by?
Right. So, Ajay, to begin with, I just want to say and underscore this point that liquidity creates its own virtuous cycle. And there is a lot of commentary on valuations, but not enough has been said about what liquidity can do to create its own demand for capital and maybe further filter down or trickle down into real GDP creation. So that is one thing that we've observed, is that abundant liquidity and historically low levels of interest rates. They are creating a dynamic which is quite interesting and very positive, actually, if I were to say that. As you can see from the capital raise that is going on, obviously first to hit were banks. There have been obviously a lot of banks who have not only raised equity but are also doing bond issuances. And for the first time, we are seeing corporates who have never accessed the bond markets come and access and raise money through the bond markets. So this is quite interesting. And that is a big positive. What my takeaway from this, Ajay, is expect a lot of great quality issuances, not only in IPOs or in QIPs or OFS, but also on the bond market side. Very positive for the markets and for investors is what I can say. To answer your second question on industry and sectors, well, number one, what we are hearing from entrepreneurs, founders, business families is this appreciation that you need to capitalize your business well with equity. And what I mean by that is that, historically a lot of promoters or founders would borrow in their personal capacity and then capitalize their business as equity. But I mean, at the back of it, it was always debt. So there's a realization that, listen, we need to be well capitalized from an equity perspective. And if the most valuable company in the country is diluting stake, why should we not? So this trend could continue, Ajay. And as I said earlier, expect a lot of public issuances as we go along. But obviously the stronger players, the stronger balance sheets, the bigger names, the leaders of the pack will hit the markets first, followed by others as and when the balance sheet strengthen. That is number one. Number two, on the industry or the sector side, is the fact that huge amount of cost savings or cost efficiency have been realized. Corporate India actually has done quite well, I must say, on that count. And you've seen the results, the Q1 results, that stands out. And it is better than expected. And we feel that a lot of these savings are kind of permanent in nature. So they're not going to reverse when we start working from offices and, the normal situation reverses. So I think that is the second big piece. And I'm happy to talk about sectors if you have any further questions.
Before that, Anshu, you have one of the best, high net worth individual and ultra high net worth individual investors also in the country. Talk to us what's going on in their mind, family office kind of investors. Have they really participated in the rally gone by from March till now, or are they still sitting on the side? Because when we talk to a lot of people, one gets a sense that 9 out of 10 people believe that this rally is not justified and hence should not be participated whole hog, and the market continues to climb the wall of worry, as they say. So what's happening in that bigger pool of money which is either sitting on the side or trickling in now? You can tell better.
Right. Ajay, actually, if I may say, there are two rallies that have happened. One on fixed income and the other on equities. And the fixed income rally is not talked about enough. So with your permission, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, because 60 to 70% of portfolios are in fixed income. And that is where investors have participated, Ajay. Last time when I spoke with you, the triple A 3-year PSU would have been about 670, 680. Today, that is trading at 5.1, 5.2. A double A corporate bond would have been about 8.5 to 9%. That level is about six quarter today. Tax-free, when I last spoke with you, was 550, 560. We are at 4.5. So there's a 7 to 10% rally that has happened on fixed income portfolios. And what we have done is to encourage clients to lock in yields, and across product categories, across tenors, across high quality AAA, InvITs and REITs. So their investors have actually done well, and we have seen our bond volumes go up significantly. There's a lot of preference now, Ajay, to buy bonds direct rather than going through a mutual fund structure that would have its own 3-year kind of a lock-in. So that is one that we have noticed. On equities, there has been an opportunity to reallocate, if I may say, Ajay. So a lot of clients were invested in mid caps and small caps, which obviously saw a lot of pain. So in this rally, what has happened is that a lot of clients have reallocated out from those products or those stocks or categories and kind of entered either cash to some extent, or have gone into large caps. So yes, they have participated, but only partially. We in fact have gone underweight a little bit about 15 days back. So there is also this dynamism in taking profit off the table just to cash out at every 5%, 10%, 15%. And finally, within sectors, there is obviously an reallocation going on as we speak. From obviously industrials to maybe telecom, to consumer, to pharma, and now IT. So all of those moving parts are in play as we speak. My sense overall is that, yeah, maybe about 50% participation has happened on the market side. But given that it's so volatile, it's so fast moving, it's hard to catch every part of it.
Right. Anshu, no, you are very right in saying that debt actually had also capitulated around that time and hence had actually posted a very big rally. On that note, you have a good, macro strategist as well, and obviously because you cater to big HNIs who are hugely in the debt. What are your feedback on ground and from your strategist team, your macro team? Do you think that because of inflation spike, there is a case for further rate cut is dimming, or do you think the rate cut cycle in India will actually continue a little more And in that light, how would bonds do?
Right. Ajay, that is a very important question. Thank you for asking that. We believe that this inflation spike is temporary, and this is something that happens every year. And this year it's again compounded by the fact that there are in the economy, there are supply side disruptions going on as we speak. So we believe that this will cool off. On demand side, there is a compression, so there is no demand side pull. Incomes have gone down, people are trading down. So all that will assist or be a positive factor for interest rates to go down even further from here. So we may end up seeing historically low levels of interest rates, even, maybe another 75 bips correction from here. So, and I obviously appreciate the fact that the fiscal deficit and the fiscal room is limited. That could have a bearing, but liquidity, it has its own drive also. So largely interest rates will stay at this level and go down, which obviously means that whatever you invested in fixed income, there will be some appreciation. But the tricky part is, how do you lock in yields? And that is what I have been saying for the last 3 months or so. Lock in yields even today. Do not wait for things to even fall further, or this 5, 10, 20 bip spike. On a net of tax basis, you need to see where you can get the best yields for your portfolio. So yes, you can look at innovative products like the Bharat Bond ETF. You can look at some of the real estate investment trusts, the infrastructure, the InvITs. So these are new product categories that have come out, but also keep a watch out for the AAA bonds to add to your portfolio. A lot of banks may come out with issuances. Go ahead and add them. So these are some of our recommendations overall from a fixed income perspective. Economy will remain in a tight space. The only sector that we see performing very well is agriculture. And other than that, exports or services or manufacturing are taking their own time to come back, and we do not know how long that will take. So give it some time more for the other parts of your portfolios to be built up.
Sure, Anshu, on that note, I'll let you go. Have a great conference. We'll chat up offline later. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for having me.
The flavor of the season is metals. And steel is certainly in focus today as well. And my colleague Ruchi is gathering some exclusive policy news break from Delhi as far